Hello friends, welcome to KT Research Guidance Bureau. Myself, Dr. Kumudini R. Thakur, introduce series of lectures for research methodology. In first session, I gave you the brief idea about simple meaning of research, objectives of research as well as criteria of good research. Second session was specially for types of research and I gave you the explanation for different types of research. Third session was specially for formulation of research problem. Research problem is one of the main thing for our research study. In that session, I explained you sources of research problem and criteria for selecting a research problem. Then I gave you the idea about research process. I explained you the steps of research process and first two steps, that is objectives of the research and review of literature. Today we are going to discuss third stage, that is formulation of research hypothesis. When I gave you the idea about research process, I explain you the simple meaning of hypothesis. Now let us try to rebrush that simple meaning. A hypothesis is an assumption, an idea that is proposed for the sake of argument so that it can be tested to see it might be true or not. So, it is a simple assumption. Now, let us try to understand the meaning of research hypothesis. A research hypothesis is a specific, clear and testable proposition or predictive statement about the possible outcome of a scientific research study. This definition is very clear. Why? Because it covers majority of the basic elements of research hypothesis. When we try to understand characteristics of hypothesis, that time again we will try to understand this meaning. When I gave you the idea about research process, I told you that research hypothesis is not a compulsory part for research study. Right now also I am telling you that to formulate a hypothesis is not compulsory for the study. But if the researcher formulates the hypothesis, at least he can understand the research problem and can convey the meaning to reader and evaluator. So, it is essential, not compulsory. So, what comes in your mind? Which are the sources of hypothesis? So, let us try to understand the main sources of hypothesis. Now, again come to your formulation of the problem. First, one thing came in your mind that you want to do research work. For that, you selected the problem. Afterwards, you design your objectives also and you review the literature. Now, subject is clear in your mind, but you have no confidence for the hypothesis. So, what you can do? You can discuss with your colleagues and experts that my main objectives are these. Now suggest me the good hypothesis for my research study. This way you can find out good hypothesis. Another thing is, when you design the objectives, that time obviously you will examine the data and record for that study. That examination of data and record also informs you so many things. You can get the idea, and that way also you can develop your hypothesis. Another one is, as you are a researcher, number of research studies are available on the same topic. So when you review that studies, that time easily you can find out their objectives and their hypothesis. Then which technique they use to test the hypothesis, whether their hypothesis were right or wrong, or suitable or not, and if the hypothesis is accepted, then what is the conclusion. This way also you can develop the hypothesis. This is also one of the good source. Now, many times if you are doing research work on any particular situation, or you want to find out the solution, that time obviously you will investigate on that particular area, and with investigation and observation you can get the idea about the hypothesis. Then another thing is, suppose one theory is existing in the market, and that theory is based on 6 elements, and you feel that if you deduct one of the element from the theory, even though this theory can work, so for the logical deduction of the theory you can design the hypothesis. Or if you want to add some new elements, suppose for the stock market there is one theory, that is random walk theory. Now if you want to add some element in that theory, for that also you can design your hypothesis. So for the logical deduction or for introduce of new elements, you can develop your good hypothesis. Then other sources, suppose you completed your PhD work 2 years back, and then you are in intoxication that I got doctorate degree, so I am a great fellow, but it is not like that. Within 2 years you can understand and realize so many things, that if you will not continue your research work, then it may possible that you may forget objectives of your study. So obviously you have to continue your research work. For the continuation of your research work, you can develop same hypothesis or new hypothesis, and then you want to find out the difference for that one. And many times your intuitions and your personal experience also gives you the idea for good hypothesis. Now we are going to understand characteristics of the hypothesis. For that I will give you one simple example, and with the help of that example we will try to understand characteristics. Banking industry is lifeblood for every economy, and we are used to with banks and banking transactions. Our experiences are different, and we can distinguish nationalized banks and private sector banks, and moreover the behavior of nationalized banks and private sector banks. So, you want to study the behavior pattern of both these banks, one is nationalized and one is private sector bank. So, you develop null and alternative hypothesis. First of all, null hypothesis. You develop there is no significance difference between public sector banks and private sector banks about behavior of employees. And your alternative hypothesis is there is significance difference between public sector banks and private sector banks about behavior of employees. So, your objective is very clear. You want to find out if there is any significance difference of nationalized bank employees and private sector bank employees. Now, read this hypothesis clearly and try to understand the elements. First is this hypothesis is very clear and convey the concept of your research study. So, first characteristic is your hypothesis must be clear, conceptual and precise. All elements are covered by this hypothesis. Another one is your hypothesis must be specific and you have to highlight scope of your area, that is also present in this hypothesis. Then consistency, consistency with your objectives. I explain you the objective of this research work and it is related to the objective also. Then testability, if you want to test it, then you can collect primary data and on the basis of that data, when you collect the data, that time you will realize they are very cooperative and these fellows all the time they will say you I have no time, I am busy, and generally they are not ready to cooperate you. There may be some exceptions, but this is our general experience. Then expectancy about the relationship, relationship about two variables, that is also present in this hypothesis. Then simplicity means anybody can understand. These two statements are very clear, even the layman can understand. Then objectivity must be there, theoretical relevance must be there and technical tools must be available. So, with the help of this hypothesis, I try to explain you the characteristics of hypothesis, and this way you have to design the hypothesis so that anybody can understand. Those who have no knowledge about your subject, even that fellow can also understand. These are the characteristics of the hypothesis. Now, let us try to understand forms of hypothesis. There are several forms of hypothesis like simple, complex, descriptive, non-directional, relational, null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, causal hypothesis, working hypothesis, etc., etc. We are going to discuss some of the hypotheses which are more useful for our studies. Among them, first is simple hypothesis. Simple means simple. The person is very simple, so easily you can understand that anybody can understand that fellow, and generally his behavior is also like that. Same way, simple hypothesis shows a relationship between one dependent variable and another independent variable. So, only one dependent and one independent variable are present in this hypothesis. Let us try to understand with one example. We are the students of commerce. So, we can understand that type of examples very easily. So, if company uses modern technology for production, can enjoy more profit. This is very easy to understand and gives the complete idea about the research work. So, this way you can design a simple hypothesis. Another form is complicated hypothesis. Obviously, if some elements are more in simple, then it is complicated. So, if two or more independent variables are there, same way two or more independent variables are also present in that hypothesis, then it known as complicated hypothesis or complex hypothesis. Both way you can use it. Okay. I would like to give you one example for that one. If sales and net profit increases, the company can attract investors and create goodwill in the market. So, two basic elements are there, sales and net profit. Remember, if sales increases, so nobody can say that net profit also increases. If company is unable to maintain operational expenditure, that time company may have gross profit, but then may have loss also. So, both variables, sales as well as net profit, if both are increasing, then obviously company can attract investors as well as can create goodwill in the market. This way you can design complex hypothesis. Now, another form is descriptive hypothesis. Generally, descriptive hypothesis describes the characteristics of variable. So, this descriptive hypothesis may gives you the idea about likely relationship. So, in descriptive studies generally we do not design hypothesis, but if you want to design, then you can design, but sentences and statement must be clear. Let us take one example. Rich people spend more money or more income for luxury rather than lower middle class or poor class people. This is one of the example, and that this is the common phenomena, because they have more money, they easily can satisfy their bread and butter requirements. So, they can spend more money for luxury. Now, another form is relational hypothesis. This relational hypothesis also describes the relationship between two variables. Moreover, it also suggests the relationship between the variables. This relationship may be positive, may be negative, or may be causal relationship. So, relationship may be any of the type, but it highlights the relationship. I will give you one example for that. Lower labor turnover ratio improves the quality of product. So, if it is lower, then obviously they have experience. So, wastage is also very low and quality is good. Now, I will give you another example for that one. Quality circle of the organization increases research capability of the employees. So, if you have a quality circle in your organization, obviously they will try to find out new areas, new product, and you can increase your research ability by this way. These are the example of relational hypothesis. Now, causal hypothesis. Causal hypothesis aim to determine if changes in one variable cause changes in another variable. So, if one variable changes, then obviously another variable is also changes, but in which manner? It highlights by causal hypothesis. Okay, let us try to understand. Decreasing in operational expenditure increases the net profit of the unit. What is the cause? Decreasing in operational expenditure. So, if you are able to decrease it, obviously you can enjoy more profit. And why? We want to introduce computers and latest technology in our organization. We want to minimize our operational expenditures. When I will give you the idea about banking industry, I will explain you this point. So, first ICICI Bank came in the market with modern technology, and then our nationalized bank also realized. So, this is one of the best example. Another form is working hypothesis. See, when the researcher is new in the area, he has no idea about anything, or he has a little idea. So, for temporarily he develops the hypothesis, and afterwards he can modify the hypothesis, and generally we have not to highlight working hypothesis in our research study. So, anyway you can design, and afterwards you can modify this working hypothesis. Now, two hypotheses, they are most important for our research studies. One is null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So, let us try to understand null hypothesis. Null hypothesis states negativity. Negativity means no difference, no relationship, right? And alternative hypothesis suggests there is relationship. I will give you one example for that one. Suppose you want to analyze companies. For that, you selected 10 fertilizer companies, and you want to predict profit of that one. Then you can develop one hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. The symbol for null hypothesis is HO. You can write one A. That way you have to highlight your alternative hypothesis. There is no significant difference in mean operating ratio between selected fertilizer companies. Means you want to find out operating ratio. For that, you highlighted one hypothesis, that is no significant difference, and alternative hypothesis is there is significant difference in mean operating ratio between selected fertilizer companies. This way you can design null and alternative hypothesis. This is the brief idea. Now, let us come to our research topic. Suppose your study have 4 objectives. So, what you can do? For 4 objectives, you can develop one hypothesis, and with various tables and analysis you have to test it. Or what you can do, for one objective one hypothesis and test it, another objective another hypothesis, third, and same is the case for the fourth hypothesis. Then when you collect primary data, that time first 4-5 questions, they are introductory questions. For them no need to develop any hypothesis, but when the main content starts, then per question you can design one hypothesis, null and alternative, and then you can test it. Now what to do? Don't write this way that null hypothesis is accepted, then full point. We are the students of commerce and we use this technique to give concrete findings. So if it is accepted, then what is the meaning of that expectation? Write it clearly. And when we will understand testing of hypothesis, that time also I will give you more idea about hypothesis. See, this time I would like to request you, please subscribe the channel and give your comments and like. My email ID is thakor kumudini kumudini@gmail.com. So if you want to give any suggestion, you can mail me. My telephone number is also there and you can call me also. If you want more description for any of the topic, please suggest me. I would like to satisfy you. Thank you very much for kind cooperation.